So yeah, we're going to hear from Sarah now about, I guess, lifetime value and Snapchat, and yeah, take it away.
It's good to see you all, the last standing ones on close to 5 p.m. on a Monday. I'm going to take the 5 minutes extra as I have the room, because usually it does take me about 20 minutes to go through the whole presentation, so I thought maybe you guys might have some time for extra questions at the end. So we can use that little bit of extra time. I'm here with Snapchat today. I'm Sara Antonelli. I lead up all strategies for apps globally at Snapchat, but it's good to be home-based. I'm based in London, so it's good to be present at an event that is quite close to my house. Today, I'm going to be speaking to you, and I hope that it resonates in one way or another on how you can actually power growth for your gaming app with Snapchat. To be completely honest, in the last year or so, and even before that, it was quite common for me to hear on all meetings that I had with clients and partners and whatnot, a very common challenge, which is challenge for how do I diversify my portfolio, how I continue to grow my user base. And transparently, that was also one of the questions that we had internally at Snap. So we went through a year of almost a revolution, I would say, from an app perspective in terms of both our ad stack, but as well as we look at our product internally. And that led us to actually take a lot of initiatives to lead both from a growth standpoint internally as well as externally, and that was helpful to help our partners to also drive growth for the particular businesses. And I understand, as time goes by and the industry does change, we face ourselves with different challenges. And for us, it was quite the same. And so we based off our strategy in 4 different pillars. One, obviously, for you to be able to succeed, you do have to have an audience that is scalable enough. And then once you deal with the audience, all that you need is what is my bread and butter, which is performance, right? So you have to have performance-driven solutions. You have to have accuracy when it comes to measurement. And then finally, you also have to have an easy onboarding, especially in a world that it relies on automation alone. Something that is very cumbersome, something that takes a lot of time. It just also bleeds money for the business itself. So everything has to become automated in the ecosystem and in the space. So why, you might ask, why Snap? As I said, we went through the exact same journey. At one point, we believed that perhaps not diversifying our ecosystem on basing our revenue and our growth on ads alone, we needed to diversify on how we actually ingested revenue for Snapchat. And we developed our own partnerships ecosystem, so bridging from not being solely an app ecosystem to then now also have subscriptions, which was a very successful project internally, and we continue to double down on that. And with less than a year of launch of our partnerships, we already have 15 million Snapchat that are subscribers, so they're paying users for the platform itself. And we already achieved 700 million in ARR for direct revenue on the last year alone. On top of that, we base that particular segment that was driving a lot of growth, and we powered into our ad stack and our ecosystem to actually build better performance solutions for our advertisers that were also to advertise it as Snapchat. And with that, we came to market to say we launched those particular solutions called the App Power Pack. And on a top line alone, we were able to see a 25% lift in app installs if you care about mid-funnel and driving volume. But essentially, what we care about is going to be on the conversion side, which we saw 18% uplift in unique converters. And here's what I wanted to double down and explain to you why the launch of the Power Pack has been so successful for us and for the advertisers that are also partnering with us to drive growth for their business too. And obviously not to say we might differ in terms of the verticals itself, but Snapchat has a huge synergy with gaming. So I wanted to double down on why the audience is particularly interesting for the gaming category or the gaming vertical. First of all, we have to speak about scale, and maybe there's a surprising factor for some of you in the room that you might not know, that Snapchat has a lot of scale, and we are at the number of 9.3 million monthly active users, and we are on track to actually be the 1 billion before the first half of the year. Actually, maybe even in the last 2 weeks, with people, the churners coming back to the app to build their 2016, for example, memories, we might have already hit that number. And in terms of DAUs, also we have daily active users that are opening the app at least 40 times a day to speak to their friends and family and people that they care about the most within the chat feed. And this particular audience at scale, they're not only interested on perhaps e-commerce or brand, as you might think, but they're actually gamers, so the synergy is quite big. When we talk about the Snapchatters that are using gaming apps daily, we hit the 78% mark, and a lot of those users also, they do play games and they are within the gaming apps multiple times a day. So they are gamers in their core and their categories. And not only that, but actually they come to the app to discover new trends, to talk about with their friends on what games they're playing, what is new within the ecosystem, and how they can actually share experiences and what they're being on and about within their day-to-day basis. And not only that, obviously, we do also care for purchasing power. So what is obviously a user that you can not only drive the install, but it can also drive your lifetime value and drive particular performance and growth for your title itself. So 36%, as I said, of our users, they're actually paying users for the Snap app. So signaling that they do have purchasing power. But not only that, an even more significant number, we see that 50% of Snapchatters actually had made an in-app purchase from an ad that they saw on Snap and then eventually went to install the app and drove a purchase later down the funnel. And to kind of close within the audience piece, I want to say that not only the audience is quite scalable, but it's also incremental. It adds incremental value because you might not see the audience anywhere else, so you might not see them or in the same way that they would behave within Facebook or YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. So there is an audience with a value of incremental in there. And if you might think that maybe, Snapchatters, they might be a little bit down towards the younger side or more the Gen Z, which we do have a high penetration. Actually, 1 in 4 Snapchatters are 35 plus. I'm 35 myself. I actually have my Snapchat account since the very first time that I downloaded while I was starting at uni. So the retention that we have in terms of users, the users did carry on using the Snap app, and they still, speak to their friends and family, and that particular category of users within that date, that demographic, it carries on until today. So if you think that we might skew only younger, you might want to rethink that, because the audiences at scale might also hit that particular demographic that you're looking for, that is your core audience for your game. Now on to what I call the bread and butter, because obviously audiences as a standalone might not drive anything if you're actually not really optimized towards the performance that you're gonna need when it comes to making lower funnel decisions impactful. And within today's day and age, when competition is at score, maybe UA is hitting some level of plateau, and the industries might be shifting towards a model that everything that you might have been doing the last few years might not work for the same level of growth that you want to drive today. Those particular products are going to help you to sustain that growth. So we've been on a journey to transform our app ad stack. That took us about a year and a half, but I'm quite proud to say that the changes and the enhancements that we have done in the app ad stack have been incredible in terms of drive value and results. And they're not only from kind of like an algorithm and us really working towards that particular framework, that obviously being at school, but we also leverage signals, really become to be very innovative when it comes to our measurement solutions and how we partner with MMPs and how we partner with SCADA ad network as an ecosystem to really drive the value that our customers need. And finally, if you're only speaking about performance and measurement, that as a standalone would be your baseline, but it doesn't come without the effort of actually building formats that are going to drive, the last click, and building formats that are going to drive users' attention. So it has to also be tied as a full funnel from the measurement ecosystem all the way into the creative. So we focus on all of that as fundamentals for us to be able to drive value for our advertisers today. So the first product I would like to mention is the product that has ultimately become BAU for all our global gaming advertisers, which is target costs. In a world that I know automation is going in towards a way that with some of our players or competitors, what you see is actually you let them control the whole ecosystem. Here we have a solution that actually enables you some level of control, but also it brings efficiency. And not only efficiency at scale, but also efficiency in terms that you are able to control the way that you want to show up in that stack, especially when perhaps auction is more dense and you want to pull back, or perhaps in moments in which there are not global important moments for your app and you don't have that particular standalone that you want to push forward. And therefore, you're able to control the costs of that particular user that you want to serve. And when, for example, Q5, when auction is a little less dense and you really want to scale, you want to drive acceleration for the business and the user base, that's when you can leverage cost efficiency towards solutions as that. Essentially, that has become the bread and butter for all our gaming advertisers. So if you are advertising at Snap and haven't tested the solution yet, or advertising at Snap, I would definitely advise you to take advantage so you can understand how you can drive results at scale, being among your top performance partners with this particular solution today. And this is a clear example of one of our rewarded plays, Play Games, Win Cash, Yota. They were able, within the target cost solution, to drive 84% lower CPIs within their activity, 60x lower cost per purchases, more purchases and 90% lower cost per purchase, and 6 times more first-time purchases, or what they call the first depositors, which was a very interesting case study when they first started testing target cost, which eventually became their evergreen, their BAU solution. On top of that, when it comes to the ad stack and the way that we build performance solutions, we also improved the way that the algorithm controls their models and the ranking and the way that we can really find the right user to deliver the right ad. So we're not wasting budgets, but we're really making sure that those users are going to have an impact when driving both the install as well as the conversion. More precise delivery, so we're able to connect your audiences. Exclusions are a lot more direct, and ultimately for advertisers to be able to achieve their KPIs. Then another example of that is when Nexters first started to leverage our 7.0 solution, and for advertisers that really care for more the last click or more the MMP driven measurements, that is essentially a way to leverage the algorithm in order for the algorithm to focus on users that are more likely to convert on the basis of a 7-day click. Not excluding the view, but focusing more on the last click. And then you can also see how they were able to achieve, lower CPIs as well as higher ROAS within their BAU. And finally, when it comes to the product adoption side of the house, when it comes to the performance part, we also launched value optimization. I know that VO, value, or the likes of T-ROAS have been in the market for quite some time when it comes to our competitors, but value optimization really also brought a level of additional testing opportunities for advertisers to be able to perhaps build a cohort that is a little bit more qualified, go after your AOs, go after users that really can bring the LTV towards the green zone within the app. And that has also been one of the levers to drive growth for the gaming advertisers. But if I talk a lot about all the products that we launch without having a reliable measurement ecosystem in place, that won't translate well, because it might mean that we're optimizing towards the right user, but we might not be showing up well on your source of truth. So what we've done, we've really understood how we're partnering with our gaming advertisers today and what really the trends in the industry are and what they're facing in terms of challenges, but how we can progress and move forward to really equip them for, a challenging year of 2026, that at least they will be able to take decisions based on the most transparent way possible of understanding what trends they're looking like from both a cohorted way, but also from a more granular way, such as, all the way down to log-level user reporting and whatnot. And that's when, a year and a half down the line, we partner with all our MMPs, starting from AppsFlyer all the way towards Singular and Branch, Adjust, and all of them, to really launch what is best in class called today an advanced SRN partnership, which means that we are leveraging additional signals, we're building more robust and resilient ecosystem when it comes to a private-centric space, and really building for better optimization as well as better reporting on the MMP side. So today, not only we're able to have granular report all the way to the ad level via the dual opt-in, you also are able to, even from kind of like both a click and a view base when it comes to AppsFlyer, if you're based on an AppsFlyer MMP, for example, you're able to really have that granular reporting or leverage, solutions that are able to give you the indication that even down to the ad level, you're able to make decisions, really understanding the users within the iOS ecosystem and make those decisions more fair and informed. And on top of that, as we have the advanced SRN connection, we now also enhance what we call our advanced conversions ecosystem, which is essentially plugging in all the signals resilience that we have from the partnership into our own algorithm and the way that we operate and approach things from an optimization standpoint. And then when we speak about having resilient signals and then have a product that is really targeting for the right user at the right time, we then have to start caring about clients' KPIs and the true challenges at core. And I'm really, really excited for our roadmap this year, and we started to already push some things live, and some things are in alpha, beta, and some things are even GA'd for you to experience with them today. But it goes into a trail of things that we're building to better suit our advertisers and having their true challenges and KPIs a focus and building for them to be able to leverage as Snapchat. So first, obviously, if we're talking about a probabilistic environment, you still might want to have scan reporting, right? So the first thing that we've done, where if you're optimizing towards advanced conversions, you're still able to have scan reporting so you can do the cross-channel measurement in the most informative way. Second, we launch a metric within our first party that's not only reporting, it's also actually optimization. That's called app acquisition conversion metrics. What does that mean? In a simplistic way, is a paired conversion. So actually matching the way that the MMPs report the conversion and the install to the way that we report the conversion and the install and optimize towards those. Those essentially no activation requires are some things that we already launched within our ads manager itself, and then you're able to check the reports. Obviously, the discrepancy now goes as low as 5 to 10% if you're leveraging those particular solutions, and we're also optimizing towards them, meaning that your ad stack just eventually, as Snapchat, became a lot more efficient. But we build those things, obviously, as you already can have a taster on what's to come, but eventually this is the product that is our North Star and what we're working towards. What we're building here, and I must say, we don't have something similar to that in the competition or the players in the social space and ecosystem today. So if you are already a gaming advertiser, you're advertising as Snap, I would say please reach out to your point of contact as Snapchat if you would like to get into the alpha or beta stages, depending on which MMP you leverage today. But this particular solution is quite exciting because it truly optimizes for what you as a gaming advertiser cares about. What we've done here, we actually, you guys understand how the ecosystem from a measurement standpoint works. So every time that we receive secondary pings from the MMP, we can read them, we can leverage them, and we can optimize towards them. So essentially what we've done, we build a proxy that's able to not only optimize so when a user sees or clicks an ad on Snapchat, but truly when that particular user is going to see the ad or click on the ad, that install is going to be attributed to Snap, and the conversion is essentially attributed also to Snap. Meaning that we're no longer wasting no budgets, but we're really actually, leveraging the budget in the most efficient way they can possibly be, because we're leveraging a solution in an ecosystem that's truly catered for your source of truth. So if there is, leveraging the MMP with an additional of a BI on top, on the way that you use your reporting, or in the way that you combine both MMP reporting plus the scan, we're taking all of that into account and building for better and more specific signal. So we're able to see the results and trust that the platform is really optimizing towards your best interest and your best KPIs. I'm not going to spoil it in terms of case studies because the results are really promising. So if you guys want to learn more about us, this is in alpha and beta stage, please come to our booth. We are more than happy to showcase what gaming advertisers have been seeing with this particular solution today. And finally, we also build for the gaming ecosystem in itself when it comes to formats. But I must say, obviously, our best-selling product as Snap, or the reason why users keep returning 40 times a day, is obviously our chat feed. And we opened the chat feed for advertising as well, and then not only drove incremental value for us because there's a lot of impressions in there, but also impressions that are converting. So we can see at 18% growth in the number of unique Snapchatters who installed and purchased within the app ecosystem. Then we also have app and cards, all of that to continue to power for automation and the way that you can really leverage creatives in the way that you can have conversions at the end of the day. So end cards, essentially, they build from the end cards within the app ad store itself. So it grabs reviews from the users, it grabs the selling point of the apps, and it just transforms them into an ad, doubling down the automation piece, especially when, leveraging creative and creative fatigue is so a core. These particular solutions, they do help when driving additional clicks and additional conversions. But then finally, one solution that we haven't really put into the market while a lot of our competitors have done is playables. And maybe playables might seem something from the past, but not for Snapchat, because the synergy that we have with the gaming audience is so high, and the way that the users interact in such a playful way. We have been seeing really, really strong results when it comes to this particular new ad format. Just because users are more likely to actually play a playable within Snapchat. They are used to, the AR connection that they already opened to the camera and are playing with the features. Now they're actually just more engaged with having that playable feature enabled on Snapchat. And what we have been seeing is quite impressive results, I must say. So nearly 400 predicted ROAS increase if compared to this particular gaming client's BAU. If you care about mid-funnel driving volume and new installers, 37% drop in CPIs while sustaining a 19% higher ROAS. That Power Pack, there's a lot of features out there, and I'm pretty sure one of them is probably going to be suitable for your gaming and for your 2026 strategy for growth. So please come back to the booth and speak to one of us. We're more than happy to continue to have a chat. I'm not sure if I even used the 25 minutes or if I have time for questions.
You've used the 25 minutes.
The 25 minutes. I needed the extra 5, so that was good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. If there's questions, I'm more than happy to chat outside.